Today we'll see how to upload our own data sets into Aware platform and how we can do the metadata conversion so that our data sets fit into the Aware platform.
Uploading data. Is there anything more exciting than uploading data? I don't think so. Yeah, so what we're going to do is kind of like yesterday at the end. I'm going to show you a couple of examples. Show you an example, kind of go through it, and then so they have the actual printouts. Chuka, do they all have the printout of the? Okay, and so you should have a printout. Gave you a little manual, and so the exercise I do, there's actually a written out exercise in there, so that you can actually follow along and do it yourself. Okay, so I want to start with an interesting little example. Yesterday, one of your Ravi from the Sorghum Institute, he was so excited that after we finished the session yesterday during the tea break, he stayed here and wanted to get some data from FAO stats about sorghum production throughout the world and get it down from FAO and load it in our system. So he already skipped ahead and did an import, used our import tool. But he had a problem. It didn't work. And so he sent me a copy of the data he downloaded from FAO. I took a look at it. And so I want to show you, this is one of those classic examples of sometimes the difficulties of getting data to be together. But I'll show you what happened, what he did. So the data that he asked for from FAO, so what he did was he asked for sorghum production. So it's sorghum yield, sorghum production, seed production, and the area harvested for sorghum for about 90 countries around the world. And this is the format of the data that came down from FAO. And what this is you see, so this is exactly how it came down in the spreadsheet from FAO stat. And what you see is the first column is the elements. So this is a list of the attributes. So you see area harvested. Then there's a code that they brought down here for the elements, an element code or an attribute code. And then there's the area, which in this case is countries. There's a list of countries. And there's a country code that FAO uses. And then there's the actual item, and then a crop. This would probably be a crop code. 83 would be sorghum. So there's my sorghum column. And then I've got dates going on here. So these are years, 1984, and it goes all the way out to 2012. And then these are the values. So any given spot on here, this would be 1964, 147,000 hectares of area harvested in Austria of sorghum, in that Australia in 1964. So what we refer to this as is this is attributes down, countries down, or location down, time going across. So that's the format of this data. It's a fairly common format for time-based data like this. Unfortunately, our loader we're going to show you today, right now our first version of that, we would like to see the data as countries going down, the time going down, and then the attributes going across. So what we did, it turns out that FAO, if you go back to their website, there's an advanced download that you can pick the configuration and all that. So some of the visual checks that we do is single row consistent headers. Here's the mistakes we see all the time. So we get a spreadsheet of data. The first thing is a lot of times people will use a couple of rows to put the headers. We've got long names, so they'll alternate back and forth. So row 1, row 2 will be the headers. That's very difficult for a machine to try to read. So all we do is just collapse those together, make it all one row for the header. No empty implied values between rows. What that means, a lot of times people in a spreadsheet, to be human readable, they might have the country and then the state. So let's say India, then have Andhra Pradesh, and then they'll skip down and leave it blank under India until they get to Bangladesh. So then we'll have Bangladesh, set of states. Then it'll be blank until they get down to, Nepal. So they'll imply that all those blanks are actually the same as the country above. And a machine has a problem because how do we know that those, are India? Because in another field over, there's the actual yields, and I got 1,500, 1,500, and a bunch of blanks, and then 1,700. Well, were all those blanks 1,500, or are those just no answers? Usually, if it's in numbers, it's no answers. But that India and the countries, that's probably actually got value. So one of the things you want to do is fill those things in. If you see, it's much more machine, it's people readable because it keeps a lot of data from being there, but fill it in. So every row is complete. So I'll say India, 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 Andhra Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh. I'll see all that filled in. A consistent representation of nulls, a no answer. There's a big difference between 0 and null. So if someone's got yields, if you put 0 in, we think he had no yield. That means he had a bad year, didn't get any rain, he actually had 0. If there's no answer, we leave it blank because we just don't know what it was. But if you put a 0 for that one, that's going to affect your average for everything else. So there's a difference between zeros and nulls. And a lot of systems will have 999 will be the null. For us, we don't care, but be consistent. What we actually like is just leave the cell blank. If it's a null and no answer, put it blank. And if it actually is a 0 where I tried to grow, but it didn't come in, then you put a 0 there. Be consistent about that. And like I say, blank is good. That's a good thing if there's no answer because it's interpretable too. I look at the sheet. If I see blanks, that means they didn't answer that question. And then when we do our statistics, we won't count those into the statistics for averages and whatnot. And the thing to look for is these just big, obvious, large missing blocks. If you look at your sheet, just take a look at the whole thing. If you see big spaces in it, try to understand why they're there. Is it because there's no answers, or is it because they're doing that implied thing where they're assuming that the cell above is the same thing? And so some simple checks you can do with the spreadsheet, and I do this all the time before I load any sheet, is sort each column up and down. Look for the outliers. Look for the ones that are just out of place that shouldn't be there. Scan for similar misspellings. This is great. If you take your village names and sort up by the villages, you'll very quickly see quite a few that start with the same letters but finish different, but have been misspelled or spelled differently. Very easy to correct those and make them all spelled the same so they group better together. And you get more consistent results. Because so many times you'll end up with people in one village being split up among 9 virtual villages that are just spelled differently. And it messes up your statistics. And this is the easy way to fix something like that. Also, look for text in numeric columns, or the opposite. So I've seen this so many times. We'll see a column called years of education, and the answers are 3, 3, 4, 5, the number 4, graduated, yes, some. So years of education, I got some. And so obviously these things are very difficult to do. So you either want to change this to a number that's consistent, change this 4 to the number 4, graduated. If you know what graduated means, change it to the same number. And you might have to just clear out things. These are just the instructions here. Hit the little open button up there. That's actually a good point. We probably ought to make that. Click it. And then, is that it? Let's see. Go to the desktop. There should be set training packages. And World Bank, the last one, 5C. Excellent. And it'll take just a second or two. Boom, you've got it there. So has everybody got the sheet? Anybody have any trouble? We can help with it. Desktop, go to the desktop. So when you hit that load button, go to the desktop, and then there should be on the desktop a file called ICRSAT Training. Keep going down. Uh-oh, maybe they didn't give you a copy of it on this one. Hey, do you have a copy of that ICRSAT Training, the thumb drive? Or can you load that ICRSAT Training onto his desktop? Doesn't seem to be there. Okay, we have one. Did everybody else find that file? Okay, good. Okay, so you see the loader here, and what it's done is it's already tried to guess. It figured out that, okay, select the header row, it's got the first row there. Select the first data row, it's already got it picked out. So I don't need to change anything, it's got it right. So we can just go up here and hit the next button. And as soon as we go to next, now it's pulled out all the header names, and it has them, it's taken a few guesses, and sometimes it guesses right, and sometimes it doesn't guess right. So we're going to correct it. So first thing you see is the very first one is the country. That's a good name. It's a location. We want that's going to be my primary location. So let's change location to primary location. Because what we have to do, and the system will warn you about this, we have to have a primary location and a primary date. We can have other locations, and we can have other dates, because sometimes you'll have, what was the season name, or the year of the season? You might have a plant date, a fertilized date, a flowering date, all kinds of dates. But we want to pick the primary one that we want to compare everything to. So that might be the season. And then later on, you might be able to compare the different plant dates and harvest dates, for example. But I have a primary date, and that's going to be by country. So select the location, the units, we're going to pick country for it. Then we're going to pick year as the primary date. I have to select the resolution, which is, this is years. And then we've got land area, square kilometers. So land area, you already see that it's an area. If I click on that, I see the different types, and it's already picked that area. And it guessed that this were hectares, but this not. This one's square kilometers, so pick square kilometers. The average precipitation, it's in millimeters, that's right. We've got cereal land, and that's going to be an area, and it's going to be hectares. It's already correct. We've got cereal yield. It's a yield. It's kilograms per hectare. We've got forest area. It's area. Let's change that to square miles. And we've got area. And this is actually an area as the percent of land. So I'm going to change this from, it's going to be area. And we're going to go over here and in the types, look down and pull out percent. This will just make it a little bit more accurate and just a little bit more documentation for other people to see what it means later on. So percent. And then we've got the crop production index, food, and livestock. So what I can do here is click. I want to shift click on these others. So I got all three of those selected down here. And I can change them all at one time. These are all indexes. I'm sorry, not forest area. I'll turn that one off. Unclick that one. Livestock. So what I've done is I've selected the crop production index, food production index, livestock production. I'm going to make those all an index. Forest area is a percent of land, area percent. Okay, got that. A rural population is a population by people. That's right. Rural population is a percentage. So this is actually population, but it's a percent. So let's change this one to percentage. So we're just taking a couple of minutes to kind of go through and just make this a little bit more accurate. Because what this does, again, if this is a quick sheet, you don't have to do this. Just load it up, take a look at it, throw it away. You don't have to do all this. But if it's something that you might later on want to share with somebody else, it's really good to fill this in because then they'll know all the units. I got population growth, so that's population. It's also a percentage. So I want to click on that, go to percentage. Okay, so after I've done all this, I got them all set the way I want to right now, and we just say add it to the palette. So go ahead and hit your add to palette. Let's do a real quick run around with people and see how they're doing. Make sure everybody's up to this point here. That's very good. So you're up to colony. Oh, okay. So you see that the short name is Burkina Faso. So that's not actually the right names there. So what you want to do is let's go backwards. Go to previous. And what you want to do is say, okay, click. You've got the select header row. The header row is number 2. So pick that. Now pick row 2. There you go. And then the data row, now it's got it right. The data row starts right there. So it's already correct now. So now I'll go to next. And there you go. Now you got all these are all correct there. Very good. So now you just kind of go through and say, pick that to be your primary. So go to location. That's a primary. One more down. Primary location. Good. And then tell it that's a country. See it right down. Perfect. So just kind of go through each one of those, and you want to pick year for that one. That's it. So has everybody else gotten to where you've added to the palette here? Okay, that's good. So you've got actually you're all set. So you've got the blue is on the country, and then the pink, which is the data, is on there. So you're good. So just hit the next button there. There's not one. These are optional. So if there was a row that had units, and if there was a long name, you can pick those. But if there's not, you just don't worry about it. So you're all set. So in this case, there's just a header and a first data. So those first two are the only ones you have to do. So you're good. So then you just hit the next button up there. Perfect. And now what you're going to do is just kind of go down. So this one is a primary location. So go location. And hit primary location. And then tell it that that's a country. Good. And that one's already, primary date is correct. You want to change that to years. Good. Good. Okay, yes, I just want to change, yes, you want to just change that hectare to square kilometer. So just click on hectare right there, click that one. Click square kilometers. That's perfect. Yep. Serial land. You want that to be an area. It's an area. It's right there. Good. And that's going to be in hectares. Oh, and it's already picked for you. That's good. So it's already guessed in that one, correct. Scrolling down a bit. Yeah, so this one's actually a percentage. Yes, you want to change that to percent. So go down to, run that down to P's. There's a bunch of units. There you go. Perfect. Okay, now these three are all the same. Okay, we're going to make these, just call them an index. What you can do is click on the outside here. Oops, yeah, you got it. So this one, crop production, just click on it. Or after, just in the middle, on the name. Just click anywhere there. Now hold your shift key down, and go down and click on livestock down here. It's going to select all three of them. Okay, now if you just change one, it'll change all. So you want to change that to an index. I don't think it'll be the actual type here. So we just want to change that to index. Yeah, it's under basic types at the top. Go down to index. There you go. And there's just no units because it's unitless for an index like that. So you can leave those. And then rural population, that's in persons. That one's correct. So let's click on this one. Click on it over here. And select this other. Yeah, that. And that's population is okay. Change that to a percent. Yeah, grabbing you down. There you go. There you got it right in the bottom there. And then last one is that's also a population growth. So change that to percentage, and you're all set. Same thing. Got to grab it down in the middle. You got it. That's the last one, isn't it? Yeah. So you're all set. So identify primary. Okay. So somehow scroll back up to the top of your little list here. There's something messed up. So click, change that to just regular date. Go to date time. Make a regular date time. Yeah, hit that. Now hit it again. Now hit date time and say primary. For some reason, it didn't take it. Now go back up to date time and hit primary date time. Oh, then the resolution. Yeah. So now pick year there. Something. It didn't pick that up. Okay. Now it's all happy. So you're good. So you hit add to palette. You just imported a sheet. Okay, has everybody got everything you imported? Yes. Oh. I'm not sure what happened there. I'll tell you what. Let's just do. No, okay, yeah, just try it again here to see. Maybe. Looks like it's going to work. Import. Okay, I got it. We lost a little bit there, but it's still there. So there's your world bank. That's correct. It's already guessed right. So you can go next. And You want to fill those guys back in again? You'll make this a primary location. One below right there, primary location. And yes, that one should be country. That's going to be years. Yep, perfect. Yeah, just kind of go down through those guys. Looking at this one, that's very good. Everybody else gets, we're just about everybody all together here. So let's see, we got, so it's area. Now it's going to be square meters or square kilometers. So change the units over there. Excuse me. This one's okay. This one's precipitation, so precipitation millimeters. That one's okay, so just click outside. Now come up on this one, though. We want to change that hectares there. Yep. Change that to square kilometers. Yeah, that's the square. What it actually. And then serial land, so that's going to be, see, serial land, so it's going to be, that's going to be an area. Yep. And then hectare, it's already guessed hectare, so it's right. So it's the hectare up there. Perfect. And then now we've got serial yield. So yield, kilograms, it's already right. So it's got kilograms per hectare. Area, that's going to be square meter or square kilometers again. And then that's an area, but it's a percent. So change that to, so you get about scroll about halfway down to where the P's are. Going down to P, we're going to pick percent. There you go. Very top. Percent up there, right there. Yep, got it. And now we've got three. Okay, so these three are all, let's see, these three are the same. They're all indexes. So click here, and then I'm going to hit the shift button and click the third one there. Yeah, right there, click. So it's selected all three, so you can change them all at one time. So we can go up, so this changes just the index. So click on the right there on one of them, and go, it's a basic type, an index, yeah. And then there's no units, it's perfect. So now, last couple, why don't you scroll down and get to the bottom. Oh, you got the bottom already. So rural population people, that's right. Rural population percent, so that's changed. We got population, let's change this to a percent out there. Now here, we got these still selected. So let's click here just to select one more down right there. Click that one. Click here. There you go. And now just pick that to percent. It's going to, yeah, you have to scroll down about the middle. So grab your little scroll down, go down to the P's. A little bit higher. Right there. You got it. And then the last one here is also percent, so the same thing. Scroll back in the middle. Excellent. Now hit add to palette here there. Good. That's good. You got it. Now just click the little arrow up there. Well, once it gets finished, it's going to draw the first one. So now just click that little arrow to open it up, and you're there. Oh, click it one more time. But just click it one more time. That little arrow right there. Yeah. There you go. So now it's open up. Okay. So let's do a little bit. So basically, so what you've done is just imported a sheet. And when it comes in, you see up here we've got that one little row. And that's the folder that has all the attributes we just loaded. And if there's a little triangle there, if you click that little triangle, that opens up that whole thing there. So you see all the different ones. And right now, all these are selected. And just for kicks, let's turn off all of them. Then turn on land area and forest area.